Republican from Wisconsin and a member of the Foreign Relations and Budget Committees. Senator, good morning.
Morning, Chris.
Here's part of the argument on the other side. There have already been 13 congressional hearings, 25,000 pages of documents released, 50 briefings on Benghazi. So how do you make sure that this panel doesn't cross what even the Republican strategist Steve Schmidt said this morning is a very thin line between a serious investigation and a kangaroo court?
Well, Chris, you can throw out the numbers of pages or numbers of documents, but we actually need the relevant documents. And I think that's been what's been revealed with Ben Rhodes' email. Why wasn't that provided initially? Could it be because there is a cover-up? I mean, haven't politicians learned that it's the cover-up that really gets them in trouble? And that's what we're seeing this administration. And trust me, this is about getting the truth. Now, Chris, I had a father of a young Marine come up to me early after Benghazi, kind of fingered my chest saying, you have to get us the truth. I need to know whether my son is basically under the command of somebody who would abandon the age-old tenet in the military of leave no man behind. So this is really about getting to the truth, which the American people deserve to know.
So you don't believe that there's a political motivation about energizing the base for 2014 or getting at Hillary Clinton for 2016?
From my standpoint, it's about getting to the truth, which the American people are demanding. We hear it all the time. Now, maybe it's coming from our base, but the people I talk to in Wisconsin, Benghazi continues to be a big issue because they've been lied to. The American people don't like being lied to, particularly by their president and by their Secretary of State and by members of the administration.
Fair,
that's what's happened.
The Secretary of State said just yesterday that he's not afraid of the truth. In fact, it's in his best interest to have the truth out there. Let me play for you what John Kerry had to say yesterday.
We'll respond because we have absolutely nothing to hide whatsoever, and I look forward to complying with whatever responsibilities we have. I think everybody needs to take a hard look at, and sort of measure what's been already put out there versus where this effort is going, and you see a very partisan response on the Hill.
So he will comply with the House subpoena, but as one of his spokesmen pointed out yesterday, look, nobody ever asked him. Nobody reached out to him and said, will you come and speak to our committee? Instead, they issued a subpoena. Was that the respectful way to go about this?
First of all, Chris, I wasn't referring to the current Secretary of State. I was referring to former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton. Chris, I just want to ask you a question. You know, if you had been Secretary of State at Andrews Air Force Base, welcoming or honoring the remains of those 4 dead Americans, and really being given the task of offering America's condolences to those survivors, would have you done that with genuine human compassion, just offer those condolences, or would have you done what Secretary of State Hillary Clinton did, planted, perpetuate the cover-up of her dereliction of duty when she basically said to Tyrone Wood's father, we're going to arrest that video film producer. Now, I just want people to put yourself in the position of Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and cravenly turn that moment, a moment that should have been of sincere human emotions and compassion, and turn that into political cover-up. I think that's outrageous.
Let me switch to Ukraine. This morning, Vladimir Putin said Russia is going to do it all it can to resolve the crisis and take the most positive approach to international peace efforts. He's calling for a delay to the East Ukraine referendum set for Sunday. Now, I know you attended a classified briefing last night. It focused about these concerns in the upcoming May 25th election. What can you tell us?
Well, first of all, this is spinning out of control. And I think what is also pretty obvious is something that I think this administration is just denying the reality that Vladimir Putin is not going to respond to words or threats of serious consequences. He's only going to respond to action. Right now, Vladimir Putin is in the driver's seat. He's getting everything he wants because he can take all these actions, all these provocations, with impunity because he's not really paying a price for it. I mean, the stock market, the currency has actually increased since sanctions were imposed. So my point to the administration is we have to actually act. We've got to make Vladimir Putin pay a price. We have to change his calculus. Nothing the administration is proposing or doing right now is changing Vladimir Putin's calculus, and that's unfortunate. I wish it was working, but it's not. We have to recognize that reality.
And let me get your take on last night's primary results. Big wins for the Republican establishment. Do you think that this signals, if not the death knell for the Tea Party, at least a weakening?
Listen, I'm kind of independent of both groups. I ran my own race in Wisconsin. I'm about trying to save this country. I think that's what conservatives, Republicans are all about. I think, quite honestly, the media is making too much of the split between the establishment versus the Tea Party. We have patriots throughout this country that are concerned about the path that America is on, and we are realizing that we have to win elections. And so I think actually what we're finding is kind of a unification of the conservative movement, the Republican Party, because we recognize the only way we're going to turn the situation around, put America on a sustainable path, is if we win elections, take a majority in the Senate so we can retire Harry Reid, his one-man dictatorship here. So I think it's just Republicans, conservatives becoming practical and starting to elect people that can win the final election.
Senator Ron Johnson, thank you for coming on the program.
Have a great day.